Hey everybody, this is Melina. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. I wanted to share with you a faith journal process I just completed using lots of mixed media. I will be in my Traveler's notebook insert, this craft one here that I have. It's a standard size. I will also be using some Tim Holtz blending tools and some stamps and also this Brilliance archival ink and also some stencils. I'll be using just a couple of stencils and this modeling paste and the little spatula, the shovel that comes with it. These Mr. Huey sprays, I have white and I have iridescent there. Some Distress Oxide inks from Tim Holtz also. Like I said, stencils, that's the Tim Holtz, and then that is a Mr. Huey's stencil there. That is a piece of vellum, just plain vellum I'll be using. That's another piece of kraft cardstock that I will be using as the inserts to that Traveler's Notebook insert. And then that wood finished piece of paper that's just come from my stash, and then that is what we will be stamping on and inking on, and it wipes up really well. I'm going to move that out of the way here just for a moment, and let's get this kraft cardstock cut down so that it can be added to my Traveler's notebook. A standard Traveler size notebook is about 8 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'll be cutting this paper down just a little bit smaller than that, just so that I have just a small little mat to go around that Traveler's Notebook page. And I'll show you how I'm going to lay that in there in just a moment when I'm finished cutting here. I decided to do mixed media today just because I haven't done it in so long. And it does make a lot of a mess, and I'm really OCD when it comes to messes, so that has turned me away from it for a while now, but I really enjoyed making this, and even with all the ink that I have all over my hands and my clothes and my desktop, I still really enjoyed it. So there you'll see that I am adding, well, I will be when I'm finished, adding those sheets of kraft cardstock to those pages. I find that it's a lot easier to work in your Traveler's Notebook if you do it like this. You have the sheets out, you work on those sheets, and then you adhere those to the actual pages of your Traveler's Notebook. I am going to go ahead and round the corners. I'm using the 1/4 inch round selection here on this tool, just because that Traveler's Notebook insert that I'm working with already has rounded corners, so I'm going to round these corners also. I'm going to start out already spraying some of that Mr. Huey's, the opaque white, and I like that because on darker cardstocks it will stay on top. It won't soak in as much as some of the other colors. This is the just piece of paper that I had in my stash. It's a wood grain finish. I'm adding that and just tearing it, and I'm going to add it to the other side also, and just willy-nilly here tearing it and adding it to my pages. I love the layered look that a lot of mixed media artists get when they are tearing different papers and textures and things and adding them to their projects. Now, I love all of this. I love the way this comes together, but I am not as seasoned at mixed media as others are, and so if you see a way I can adhere things down better, leave me a comment, let me know. I'm sure there's lots of better ways to do some of this than what I'm going to be doing. I know a hot glue gun probably would be better than this adhesive that I'm using, but it's working, so we're going to go with it. I'm kind of doing same kind of layout, but mirror image and up and down from each other on these pages, because it is going to be journaling, and so it's going to go together. It's going to be a little double page layout, so it'll go together, and I want it to kind of matchy. So I've got those that I tore apart. I've got those adhered down now, and I am going through my die cuts that I have to see what I would like to add to these pages. I will add these die cuts later. I just wanted to show you my little process of going through all these die cut packs and picking what I'm going to add to my project. On this die cut pack, I am just looking for that teeny tiny little strip right there, and that's it out of that entire die cut pack. And then I will go through one more and get just a couple of more things, and then go back to that first die cut pack, and I will pick out another flower that goes along with that other little red flower that I have there at the top. But I love these antique-y, distressed looking die cuts, and it's going to go along perfectly with what I am writing about and how I'm decorating today. So there's that other little red flower. Here is my Tim Holtz stencil that I'm using today. And I got out my modeling paste, and the reason I went away just then is because my modeling paste was all dried up, and I had to go add water to it and mix it up really well. It's still clumpy, but I'm going with it, and it actually turns out really good. I need more modeling paste, so I'll be ordering that very soon. But it went really well. It went down really well. So I don't recommend adding liquid to your modeling paste, but if you have to, you have to. And there was going to be no pictures on these pages, so I'm okay if down the road something does occur, which I just really don't think it will. But anyway, no pictures, so we're good. So I'm adding that just in that one little section on that one page, and then I'll go to this other page, and I'm sitting there struggling with that modeling base, trying to get a couple of clumps just to come out and help me. So there that goes. I'm going to do a little section on that page and clean up, and we will be right back. There, I finished the stenciling with the modeling paste, and I've sped this part up of the video some because it's just some kind of tedious stuff, and I'll explain everything that's going on. I'm using that other Mr. Huey stencil that has circles and stars on it, and I'm using some of the Tim Holtz oxide inks to accomplish that little star pattern. And I went over a little bit on that right side page, but I'll cover it up eventually. I went over the stencil a little bit, but that's okay. Now I'm adding, while that modeling paste is still damp, it hasn't dried all the way, I'm adding a little color to that, just so everything's not stark white on these 2 pages, and then I'm going around the edges a little bit and adding to that also. I like how this color, after it has dried, it's a gray here, but it almost turns like a dusty blue when it is dry, and it's very pretty. So here I'm going to add this green, kind of going along here with the colors of those flower die cuts that I have up there. I'm going to go in with this green and just do a little bit, and then after I do the little bit, I go back and think, I need to add a little bit more. That's how it is with mixed media, right? We just add until we're satisfied. So I'm going ahead and adding some to that modeling paste where I stenciled. There I'm kind of covering up that red line, that really defined red line that I went across on that stencil with the stars. Going across that with that green, and then let's spray some more, and that covers up the red line where I went over also. I'm cleaning up just around the edges there because I will be writing on these pages, so I need some space to write. I'm going to add some more of that vellum paper down, and after I do that, I'll go away for just a second, and it will be the next day because I have to let everything dry before I do the finishing touches and start writing on these pages. So I'm adding that vellum. I'm going to put some adhesive behind it. I'm just kind of looking how this is going to work, how it's going to look, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere down that. Oh yeah, I'm going to do some painting too. Forgot about this. I'm using some watercolors here, just kind of willy-nilly going along, putting in some color, just because I felt like that there wasn't enough color because of those reds that are in the flower die cuts there. So I'm going to mute this red down some, but I really liked how that was turning out, and I'm washing out that brush there off the screen, and I find this iridescent white, it's just got this glistening quality to it, so I'm going to kind of mute that red down with that and just put a few, as I call them, doolollies around, doodle 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 all around, and mute that red some more. Wash out that red out of my brush and go back into the iridescent white, and then I'm going to get a little brave with it. This looks very, very bold right there, but once it dries, it is very iridescent and you can't really tell. The lighting just shows that it's really bold, that I went a little bold, but it's not as bad as it looks. I'm going in with some of this glistening copper that is in this watercolor palette. And I didn't say, but all of these items that I'm using today come from scrapbookingwithme.com. So I got the paints and the paintbrushes, the craft paper, all of the other stuff on here. I got it all from scrapbookingwithme.com. I think the actual insert that I will be putting these pages into came from an Etsy shop, and I will try to find that for you and list it below. Here I am back. It's next day. Everything is dried. I've got my coffee, and I am ready to finish these pages. I'm adding a Fisker's stamp to my stamp block here, and yes, it goes over a little bit, but it's okay. I'm just stamping just that little section of the stamp, and it sticks really well to the block, so we're good on that. I'm adding that to that right side, and then I want to add some more to this left side, but I don't want it to go across the whole page just because I will be writing. So I'm adding that little piece of scrap paper there just so it will help me to not go too far out and mess up my journaling later. And I love how that turned out in just that one little section. It looks really good. And once I add my die cuts, it will look even better. I'm going to speed this part up just a little bit because I get to tinkering a little too much, and I didn't want to bore you completely. So I'm going to go along the edges of my die cuts that I've chosen to add to these pages. I'm going to add some distressing, some oxide ink to the edges of those with my Tim Holtz blending tools. And then I'll do that also with the ones that I will be adding to the right side of the page. Add just a little extra to this little note because I will be writing on that later, but it's a lot of blank space, so I just wanted to add a little bit more distressing on the bottom of that. I'm cutting apart these little butterflies that came with that same die cut pack as the other big butterfly. I'm cutting those apart, and I'm going to add them with some glue dots. I really like glue dots for butterflies just because you can add it to the middle of their little spine, and you can pop the little wings up off the page when you do it that way, and not, you know, all over the back of the die cut. So I'm going to do that also with this big butterfly. And then I'll add that flower die cut to the back of that notebook looking piece, also with a glue dot, and making myself a little cluster here. And I'll get this adhesive that wants to be ugly. I guess I didn't have my pen all the way down last night when I put it away, but I'm adding that little phrase with some of this adhesive, and I will do this little cluster that I've put together the same way and add it also right above that phrase. The phrase says, "and I think to myself." So that actually come from a Christmas die cut pack, but I love it. I love it on this page. And especially when I write on that note piece from that die cut pack, especially when I write on that, you'll see it goes right along with my journaling. Now I've added that little bowl on top of that page just so that die cut cluster can dry, especially just right in the spot that I want it, because I don't want it moving around. It's on quite a few layers, and I don't want it to buck or bubble up. So I've put that bowl on top of it there. And I'm adding this other little cluster of die cuts on the left page, centering that up so that the clock shows 12 o'clock and it's straight up and down. And then I decide I want to use some of this baker's twine. And if you've worked with baker's twine before, it's usually twisted with white and one other color. Some of them are other colors besides white, but most are white with another prominent color. This one is white and gray, and I'm pulling it apart, and I'm going to make my own twist. So I'm rolling it around, and then I will cut it in half and use 1/2 on one page and 1/2 on the other page. I'm just going to twist it up and kind of wad it a little bit. Wad, if you're not from the southern states, you might not use that word, but we use that a lot here in Alabama. I'm going to wad it up and use that same liquid adhesive and get that adhered down after I tinker with it for a little bit. And now I'm adding the other half of that baker's twine to the left side, and I'm thinking there, but then I think, nope, there's this one little section on that left side that was bubbled up just a little bit, and I needed to add adhesive there anyway, so I decided that was a great place to tuck in that baker's twine. And I will use that liquid adhesive to go under that spot that I was going to glue down anyway, and glue down the rest of the way on that. Now I'm going to use my Uniball white gel pen to do some journaling, and I'm going to stamp the date there, and it should have been August 1st, and I had the numbers backwards and it says August 10th. So I go in with my white pen and fix that. That roller stamp came from Cocoa Daisy. And now I start my journaling. Don't worry, I will go away and come right back with most all of the journaling done. I won't make you suffer through all of my thinking and writing and thinking and writing and thinking and writing. On this faith journaling layout, I am referencing First Chronicles, and so I have included that scripture there, and I am adding seek always to that little die cut note card or notebook piece. And then I decide there needs to be just a few more splatters. So I am getting that scrap piece of paper and I'm going to get some splatters, but I don't want huge dots. So I'm rubbing it off on the bottle and then coming back and getting some splatters done there. come over to the other page and do the same thing. I need a few more white splatters over here, and maybe toward the bottom also. I love how all of this comes together. I love ink splatters, so I'm constantly adding, and when I was adding and adding, I thought you're adding too much, but I just kept on. I love them. I love how it looks with mixed media projects. I also use this technique a lot with my scrapbook pages, so I really like that too. I come in with a little bit of black from a Tim Holtz spray, a spritz bottle. I'm going to add some of that. Now, it is not the opaque, so it's not going to show up. Once it dries, it's not going to show up as well as the white, but I do like how it looks toward the end. I'm going to clean my mess, and here are my completed pages, and I will add them into that Traveler's Notebook insert in just a moment. I've got to add some score tape to the backs of these, and if you have never used score tape, you need this product. I love score tape, especially when one of my projects has a few layers, or I have used ink or sprays and it's kind of bubbly or bulky. The score tape holds so well. Now, I did just run out of that score tape, so I'm using an off-brand. I do not like this brand as much as the name brand score tape. So if you need some of that, please go to scrapbookingwithme.com. We always have it in stock. We love our score tape at the shop. Now, here I'm adding the pages to this Traveler's Notebook insert, and you want your page to be more toward the outside than the inside, because if you have measured and it's slightly too big, then when you try to close your book, it's going to fold up, so you don't want that. So you want that to be a little ways away from the spine, from the middle of your pages. So here I'm adding that right side and getting it so. And I'm going to pop those little butterfly wings up there. And then I'm going to show you very closely the finished product. I love all the layering. I love how it turned out. Now that iridescent white there at the top right, it's just how the light is showing. It is not that prominent. And there I'm showing you a side view of Dimension. And there is that side view. And we are done. Thank you so much, guys, for visiting my channel today. Thank you for watching. And I have some still shots at the end that you don't want to miss, so keep watching. And y'all have a great day. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to me and leave me a comment below. Let me know how you like this video. Give me a thumbs up. And we will see you on the next video. Y'all have a blessed day. Bye, y'all.